Hey there, have you ever seen like a multi-story apartment building, but built by a bird? Or a nest that actually grows as the baby birds get bigger? What about homes floating on the water like they're defying physics? You might think we're talking some crazy human engineering, but nope. These are all the amazing creations of our feathered friends. Today, we're diving into the 15 most hardworking and architecturally brilliant birds out there. Forget human builders. These birds have been perfecting the art of nest building for centuries. From nests that stretch several stories high to those that adapt and grow with their little inhabitants. These birds take architecture to a whole new level. And if you think that's cool, just wait till you see a nest that's not just a home, but a total fortress. Get ready to be blown away. Hit that subscribe button and let's get started. 1. Swiftlet. And number 1 on our list is the Swiftlet, taking vertical living to a whole new level. Forget ground-based or even tree-based building. These birds attach their nests to vertical walls and cliffs. And how do they get their nest to stick up there? They use their own saliva as glue. Who needs hardware tools when you have super sticky spit? Common swifts build their nest by collecting small twigs and leaves, which they then glue together into the wall using their saliva. This creates a secure, cup-shaped nest that can withstand both the weight of their parents and their growing chicks. The location of these nests, high up on the walls or cliffs, makes them nearly inaccessible to most predators, providing a safe space for swiftlets to grow up. 2. Great Crested Grebe. Meet the Great Crested Grebe, the water-based architect who doesn't believe in building on boring old dry land. These birds build their nests right on the water, using any wet plant stuff they can find. These nests are not thrown together. They're carefully made platforms that are anchored securely to plants under the water to keep them from drifting away. Kind of like having a houseboat with an anchor built in. The ingenuity of the grebe's design is that it can change. The nest can rise and fall with water levels, making sure the grebe chicks stay high and dry, or comfortable and wet depending on the weather. It's kind of like living on a waterbed, except it's really made of water. And being on the water means it's harder for predators to get to the nest, making it a safe place for the grebe families. 3. Magpie. Magpies don't just build nests, they build real forts in the trees. These birds are the safety deposit boxes of the bird world, building large domed nests that could give any security system a run for its money. The nests are carefully made from twigs and branches, strengthened with a mix of mud to solidify the structure, much like using cement in human construction. The inside of a magpie nest is lined with soft stuff, anything from wool to pet fur, making it not just safe, but also the best penthouse you can imagine. It's like building a luxury safe room in the middle of the woods. These nests are often so well built that they can handle the worst weather conditions. Rain, snow, or shine, a magpie's nest is the place to be. 4. Stork. If the Tailorbird is the boutique designer, then the stork is the ambitious high-rise designer of the bird world. These birds are known for building enormous nests atop trees, utility poles, rooftops, and other high-up spots. They are less interested in privacy and more interested in control, seeing and being seen. They come back to the same nest every year, adding more sticks and stuff, making these structures huge over time. Some even weigh hundreds of pounds. Stork nests aren't just big, they're community centers. Often, these nests become the high-rise apartments of the bird world, housing not just the stork family, but also renters like sparrows and starlings. These nests are reused and improved each year, growing only bigger and more spectacular with age. It's like collecting family items, only it's sticks and mud instead of jewelry. 5. Tailorbird. Imagine being so into the details that even your home has to be haute couture. Welcome to the world of the Tailorbird, a small bird with a flair for fashion and architecture rolled into one. These birds use their sharp beaks like sewing needles, not for needlepoint, but for building their homes by literally sewing leaves together. They thread spider silk or plant fibers through leaves to stitch them into a cozy, camouflage pocket that hides their nest from prying eyes. The Tailorbird's nest is like a leafy green tint, expertly stitched to make sure it blends perfectly into the surrounding vegetation. These nests aren't just about looking good. They're a masterclass in functional design, giving protection, insulation, and stealth. 6. Hamerkop. Check out the Hamerkop, whose method to nest construction can be summed up as go big or go home. These birds construct massive nests that could rival a small shed in size. We're talking about structures that are often up to 6 to 7 feet wide and made from thousands of sticks stacked together in an apparently chaotic, yet incredibly structured heap. These nests aren't just big, they're fortresses. Inside the massive stick mound, the Hamerkop designs a complex system of chambers, including a roof chamber to keep the interiors dry. It's like building a castle with secret passageways and hidden rooms, except it's all made from sticks and mud. And the best part? These nests are so robust that they can support the weight of a grown adult. Not that you should try climbing into one. Leave the castle storming to the knights. 7. Swallow. Swallows are the adobe builders of the bird world, showing off their bricklaying skills with a little bit of mud and a whole lot of saliva. These birds gather globs of mud and mix it with their own spit to craft sturdy, cup-shaped nests that stick to vertical surfaces like cliffs, buildings, or whatever upright structure strikes their fancy. It's like using Mother Nature's superglue. What's so amazing here is that the swallows are designing their nest to stand up to the weather. Rain, wind, you name it. The shape of the nest also protects their young from predators and creates a cozy, weatherproof safe space. If you ever question how useful spit is, swallows are here to prove you wrong, one mud pie at a time. 8. African Jacana. Why build on dry land when you can float? If you think building on solid ground is tough, the African Jacana takes it to the next level. This bird doesn't just walk on lily pads. It builds its nest right there amongst them. Using all kinds of water plants, the African Jacana crafts a floating platform that's anchored securely to the plants below. This isn't just a nest. It's a full-on floating villa. The amazing part is the bird's ability to figure out strength and stability, making sure the nest can hold the eggs and the parent without tipping over. Talk about getting your ducks, or, in this case, jacanas, in a row. These nests are proof of how good birds are at using their water environment, turning a place that doesn't seem like a good place for a home into a safe haven for its chicks. 9. Hummingbird. Size ain't everything. Hummingbirds might be teeny tiny, but their nests are amazing feats of engineering. Who needs a sprawling estate when you can build a compact, efficient home that's got everything you need? Hummingbirds build their nests from spider silk and plant fluff, creating a tiny, cup-shaped structure that's both flexible and strong. The magic of the hummingbird's nest is that it stretches. The spider silk lets the nest expand as the chicks grow, kind of like having a house that gets bigger as your family grows. And these nests are camouflaged with bits of lichen and moss, making them practically invisible to predators. These birds might be small, but they're architectural powerhouses. 10. Southern Masked Weaver. Then we've got the Southern Masked Weaver, another genius in the weaving game. This bird's approach to nest building is all about customization and climate control. Like its cousin, the Baya Weaver, this bird builds a woven nest. But this guy really focuses on nest direction and ventilation to keep things cool under the hot African sun. The Southern Masked Weaver picks materials carefully, choosing only the best grasses that can handle the weather. The nest has a snug chamber and a protective roof, cleverly made to protect the young ones from predators and the elements. Each nest is a one-of-a-kind, made to fit what the bird wants. And when breeding season is over, these birds are all about that new. They'll often tear down the nest and start fresh next year. Because who doesn't love a good remodel? 11. Baya Weaver. The Baya Weaver birds are the perfectionists of the avian architecture world. These feathered engineers don't just slap some twigs together and call it a day. No, the Baya Weaver crafts its home with the kind of precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker envious. Each nest is a beautifully woven basket, made from long strips of grass artfully tied together. The construction process is a real sight to behold, involving a complex series of knots and loops. which the bird intricately weaves using its beak and feet, designed with a long tube leading to a spherical chamber. The structure ensures that predators have a tough time reaching the cozy interior where the eggs rest. It's like a medieval castle with a drawbridge, but in bird form and hanging from a tree branch. The male weavers are particularly hardworking, often building multiple nests to impress the females. Talk about going the extra mile for love. 12. Hamerkop Bowerbird. Moving on to the Hamerkop Bowerbird, an artist and an architect all rolled into one. This bird doesn't just build nests, it creates masterpieces designed to impress the ladies. The Hamerkop Bowerbird constructs what's known as a bower. It's less of a home and more of a stage for a performance, where the main act is trying to woo a mate. These bowers are the epitome of artistic luxury. The male bird starts by building a structure from twigs, which serves as the framework. But here's where it gets fancy. He decorates this framework with all sorts of objects he can find, from colorful leaves and flowers to shiny bits of glass and metal. Each item is placed with precision, creating a visually striking display that screams, "Look how resourceful and creative I am." The layout of the bower is also precisely planned. It's all about creating the best viewing angles for when the female comes to visit. The male will often create paths leading to the bower, lined with decorations, essentially guiding the female through an art gallery of his own making. 13. Montezuma Oropendola. These birds are the daredevils of the bird world, building nests that look like they belong in a theme park. Each nest is crafted like a hanging basket, skillfully woven from fibers and vines, and dangles from the very end of a tree branch. Imagine a hammock, but for eggs. The real genius of these nests is their location. By hanging them from the thinnest branches, these birds ensure that no big predators can reach the nest without shaking things up, literally. It's like setting up a security system that shouts, "Come get me if you can." This architectural wonder not only keeps the eggs safe, but also adds a little excitement to the lives of the baby Oropendolas, swinging gently in the breeze. 14. Sociable Weaver. Ever seen a bird build a multi-family housing unit? These community-loving birds are taking the idea of neighborhood to a whole new level. They build massive communal nests on telephone poles and trees. Think of it as a bird high-rise in the middle of the savannah. The design is so intricate and spacious that it can house hundreds of birds. Imagine that? Hundreds of birds under one roof and not a single noise complaint. These nests are not just big, they're built to last. Constructed with a mix of grass and twigs, these structures can last for decades, outliving many human-built houses. Inside these mega nests, there are separate chambers for each family, because even in the bird world, everyone appreciates a little privacy. It's the ultimate in avian real estate, proving that birds might just be smarter than us when it comes to housing. 15. Woodpecker. Closing out our list is the woodpecker, a bird that could give any carpenter a run for their money. These guys aren't just randomly pecking at your trees, they're busy building the ultimate nursery for their chicks. Woodpeckers have a simple but ambitious plan. Find a tree, drill a hole, and call it home. They use their beaks like power drills, hammering away with such rhythm and dedication that you'd think they're racing against a deadline. But their skills don't stop at making a cozy nesting cavity. These clever birds also create little storage cubbies for their food. The interior of a woodpecker's tree is pretty minimalist. Because who needs fancy furniture when you're a bird, right? It's all about functionality, with storage space jam-packed with nuts and bugs, ensuring that even in the off-season, the pantry is only a peck away. So, next time you hear a woodpecker's rhythmic pecking, remember you're not just witnessing a bird building a home, but also stocking a well-organized pantry.